this study is in the genealogy of modern man and its relationship to ancient biblical bloodlines. But is there any truth to the idea of Gentiles being non-human? To give this an honest assessment, we must meet at the intersection of mythology, scripture, and science. What does it mean to be non-human? And does that mean a Gentile is some type of animal or beast in the field, possessing the body of a human, but the spirit of an animal? Could it simply be the fact that a person may be atheist or worship strange gods or even sacrifice their children that makes them a non-human or animal? Or is there a genetic basis for this notion? Is there a genetic predisposition for evil? And would this notion have anything to do with the varying amounts of Neanderthal or animal or angelic or any other types of DNA found in populations around the world? What about the giants? Would they be considered human, animal, or something else? What about the Yamin, the asses Anah found in the wilderness opposite to the lands of the people, who had the upper torso of animals and the lower extremities of men? What would they be considered? So we're going to look at a few rabbinical writings that speak to the idea that Gentiles are non-human. And most of these rabbinical writings are written by you-know-whom, who live in you-know-where, who swear that the place that they currently live, that they just immigrated to less than 100 years ago, is the actual location of the Old Testament. Nonetheless, we're quoting from Israel Shishak, Jewish History, Jewish Religion, in explicit thoughts from the Talmud and other rabbinical writings. So when we investigate these rabbinical writings, we're doing so to express the ultimate scholarship in our approach. It is important to investigate their writings for true insight into the mentality of certain bloodlines. Quote, "It must be admitted at the outset that the Talmud and the Talmudic literature, quite apart from the general anti-Gentile streak that runs through them, which will be discussed in greater detail in Chapter 5, contain very offensive statements and precepts, especially against Christianity. For example, in addition to a series of scurrilous sexual allegations against Jesus, the Talmud states that his punishment in hell is to be immersed in boiling excrement. A statement not exactly calculated to endear the Talmud to devout Christians." Gonna stop right there. So the Talmud teaches that Jesus is boiling in shit in hell. His punishment in hell is to be immersed in boiling excrement, according to the rabbinical writings. This is where the rabbis get to go crazy and reinterpret certain ideas within scripture that may be somewhat difficult to interpret. So these writings are created as a series of teachings that are supposedly in relation to the Torah. They didn't live among the Yamim. They didn't live opposite to the lands of the people. However, as archaic humans may not be classified as animals, such interbreeding is generally not classified as human-animal hybridization. Whoa. However, archaic humans may not be classified as animals, such interbreeding is generally not classified as human-animal hybridization. There's the caveat. Hey guys, we've defined it already, okay? So no animals here. You know, they weren't animals, they were archaic humans, all right? All right. All right. Following the days of the tower, when the sons of men were scattered abroad, set the template for the map of world genetics as we see it today. From Babel, men were dispersed, some going into their habitations of inheritance that had been prescribed by Noah following the flood. But some didn't go into their inherited lands, and instead invaded the territories of their brethren. This in particular was the case with the sons of Ham and Canaan. Jasher chapter 10 describes how 4 men of Ham, Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, and Zeboyim, went to the land of the plain. And Seir, son of Hur, son of Hivi, went to a valley opposite to Mount Paran and built the city of Seir. And it is called the land of Seir unto this day. The chapter explains that particularly the sons of Ham and Canaan built places as they found fit, opposed to the places of their inheritance. Presumably they built cities all over, as several references are made to them being spread abroad before the tower and scattered afterwards. The Canaanites were a large and powerful nation full of mixed and/or hybrided type peoples that were an amalgamation between bloodlines. Canaan, who was listed as a son of Ham, saw the nakedness of his father Noah and is thus cursed by Noah to be a servant to both Shem and Japheth. There are several theories concerning the curse of Ham, which is actually the curse of Canaan. The most easily identifiable is the theory that Ham, by seeing his father's nakedness, actually slept with his mother, or Noah's wife, therefore causing Noah to curse Canaan instead of Ham, because Canaan would be the offspring of an incestuous mother-son sexual encounter. This is in correspondence with Leviticus 18:8. The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. This is a reference to thy father's nakedness having a deeper connotation. Taking a general consensus on everything we've learned thus far and putting it into a box of understandable context, we should start with the genetics of the sons of Noah and establish certain characteristics unique to each of their bloodlines. With this information, we can get a far more insightful picture of past history than we have ever seen before. And that history begins after the destruction of the tower.